So here's an interesting little electric guitar for you. Let me show you. This one right here is called the Tanglewood TSB 58, and this color is in wine red. This is interesting in a couple of ways, in a few ways, that I'm comparing this to an Epiphone Les Paul, the standard ones that are mid-range. I think for me, I like this better because this is for a few things. Let me talk about the specs on this. Let's go technical on you. So first off, look at the we'll start from top to bottom. I'll be comparing it pretty much to the Epiphone Les Paul because this is pretty much, in my opinion, it's close to that. Maybe it's you could say it's a direct competitor to it. Let me talk about the comparison on the on this and the Epiphone Les Paul. So first, if you look at the headstock on this one, as you can see, if you can see what I mean by the headstock is the tuners are aligned a little bit more inwards, so they sort of like do that kind of thing, whereas the Epiphones, just the same as the Gibsons, they kind of had this straight orientation of the tuning pegs. What that results in is the D string is way angled this way to accommodate for that, and the G string is way angled this way. So ideally you would have the strings going as straight as possible from here, traveling up, such as the ones that you see with PRS guitars and Fender guitars and things like that. You know, a straight travel of the strings means that there's less bend on here, and in theory it should have a better tuning stability. But that's I don't know, maybe. But another thing is this. I reckon this guitar is pretty much a good value for money. You know, it costs a similar price to the mid-range Epiphones, but I personally like it better. Maybe you could agree to it as well if you pick one of these up, or at least have a feel for them in the shop. Now the nut on this one, because this is made to be reasonably priced, you know, there are some shortcuts. So for example, the nut is I think this is plastic. I personally have never had an issue with this. It's just it works, you know. And the neck on this one is quite thin. You could say it's probably like a thin Strat neck, or kind of like a thin Ibanez style, maybe like one of those Aztec models. They're not quite a wizard neck, but they're thin for a Les Paul style guitar. It has a nice smooth rosewood fretboard in this. It feels high quality, it feels smooth when you're doing your wild vibratos. Speaking of wild vibratos, the frets on this are big. Okay, so it's bigger than what you would find in an Epiphone Les Paul. It's probably along the league of a Shredder's type fret, like an Ibanez or an ESP. And the thing I like about these is look how shiny these frets are. See, these are like these aren't the same as your ordinary nickel silver type frets. They're I think they're like some kind of composite, almost like they almost look a bit chrome, or they almost look a bit stainless steel. They're not quite as hard as stainless steel, but I've never really had to polish this. These frets, they've always stayed shiny all the time, which I'm really impressed with. And they feel awesome when you're doing your vibratos, and when you're sliding up and down the neck as well. It doesn't feel rough. The frets feel smooth. So for a budget guitar as well, it has these nice mother of pearl trapezoid inlays, which I dig. And this guitar actually has a legitimate maple cap, right? A maple cap with a flame maple veneer. Okay, so know the difference. There's a thick maple cap. I've checked this underneath when I took out this pickup. This is a different aftermarket pickup. by BG Pups. I'll put a link on the card up there. BG Pups, BG Pickups, Brian Gunsher. Shout out to you. This is the smokestack model. So anyway, I've replaced the pickup to this because I wanted something, maybe to try something new. Don't get me wrong, the Entwistle HV58 sound quite good. They're a vintage kind of pickup, but I just thought I'd try something because I actually have two of these guitars. The other one is a gold top, which has been my main guitar for a long time before I moved on to ESP and then eventually moved on to PRS guitars. So I'm actually selling my Tanglewood guitars, so it's a surplus to my needs, but these guitars are solid for the money, you know. Anyway, this has a maple cap. It's probably about, you know, it's as thick as normal maple caps go, and on top of that there's a really thin veneer, flame maple veneer. Now the bridge comes with some Tune-o-matic, your standard Tune-o-matic. I've actually changed this part of the bridge here with a roller Tune-o-matic. I'm not sure if you can see that it's a roller type. It just reduces breakage happening on the bridge. I've also raised the tailpiece. As you can see, that's quite a bit high. So I wanted to match the angle from here to going down there. I wanted to match that the same, you know, as similar to that angle there, that string angle. So that angle from here to here to reduce the string breakage, and it's working really good. Dramatically lengthen the life of my strings. It's pretty much Alright, touring manager was calling me, just checking on what's the itinerary for today. So where was I? So strings. I've also changed the knobs to speed knobs. These big round ones, because they're quite easy to turn. The original ones, I still keep the original ones, just, you know. And the body on this is thick. It's not as thick as your typical Les Paul. It's probably 4.5 inches thick, as opposed to the 5 with the Gibsons and the Epiphone Les Pauls. And I haven't changed the this stuff here, the toggle. It works fine. Normally I take out I'll take out this sticker because I prefer it without the sticker, but I just left it in there. No, and normally as well, this one comes with the pick guard on here, but I took it off because I'd like to see more of the flame maple on this, even though it's just a cap. And it's a good looking grain at the back. I'm not sure how many pieces that is. Usually I'd care about how many pieces they are, but because this guitar resonates quite well, I didn't really care much anymore. I think this is, I could barely see it. It's probably 1. You could see this line there, 1, and then this main one's 2, and I think that's about it. It's this one's a 2-piece. Yeah. Set neck construction, great. This guitar actually sustains pretty well, you know, and it's resonant. Tuners are a Cluson type tuners. They work really well. They feel solid. Okay, I might probably detune a little bit. Tuners are solid. They feel firm. You have this abalone type logo on there. Okay, so I like how subtle it is, because when you play this on stage, people wonder what brand of guitar you're using sometimes, and it intrigues them because the guitar is quite surprising. It looks good on stage, it plays well, and then people are like, what's this guitar? And then they couldn't tell because the logo is subtle, and I tell them what it is. So yeah, as usual, there's tape in there to avoid the unwanted resonance when I'm playing, and there's tape on here as well. Same thing, and I still have the original bridge pickup. I'm keeping that as well because I'm selling both I'm trying to sell this one. It's a surplus to my needs, and probably the other one as well, the gold top one, because I'm pretty happy with my other guitars at the moment. This has served me well, and I've upgraded. I'm gonna miss these ones because I'm never gonna forget about these Tanglewood guitars because they're very solid. They're great budget guitars, so you know, in terms of Australian dollar, they probably cost me $600, which is the price of a mid-ranged Epiphone, and I think it's a really good value for money. No doubt about that. No doubt. I'm also letting this go with an old hard case that I have. Okay, might as well because I'm not gonna be using that case as well. It's got a so that's my quick rundown of the Tanglewood TSB 58. Hope you dig it, and hope that's helped you. If you're looking to purchase one from a shop or from someone else, and you wanted to know more about it, hope that's helped you out. And yeah, good luck with your purchase, and have some fun. Later.